Hi all, Hipper here. So today I am doing the first video in what will be a long series of videos where I don't use agile builds. I go for the more traditional damage focused builds. And because a lot of people ask me about this, and especially some people belonging to the Discord master race, they take it as a personal insult when I don't play traditional cruisers. So here we go, and this is like aiming systems and steering gears here. Now I do have steering gears in the third slot here on Albemarle, but that's the only cruiser with a damage focused build where I do that, because I need to be able to angle the armor at least a little bit fast on the ship here. Otherwise I would take the concealment system always when I go with damage builds, or more traditional builds, or like offensive builds, whatever you want to call them. Fourth one is the improved reload here. So with this build you have 2 heals, 2 sonars and 2 radars, which is okay. I mean it's not the best. So see here I have 18.3 kilometer range, which is nuts, and then I have reload of 9.2 seconds and 20% fire setting chance in Albemarle, that is, with a 9.2 second reload. Like, this ship is one of the best fire starters in the game. And I pay for it dearly here. Rudder shift 5.1 seconds and a speed of 35 knots. So I'm using Fraser here for my damage build, and his base trait is pretty useless in this build here, but I have him in belly for improved reload. Then I have Kuznetsov for extra range, and then I have of course extra range again, another 10% here, and a better fire chance, and then punch through. I'm not sure about this one. You could go with Light Fortress instead, which I think I will do in the future, because I don't shoot AP much in Albemarle. Then I have Fixated for better grouping, and then of course I have Refill Station for better range, another 10% if I'm close to an ally at 3.5 kilometer. That gives me a range of more than 20 kilometers. That's crazy. And then I have another minus 10% of reload on my guns. That's why they're down to 9.2 seconds. So this is pretty much as well damage focused as you can make Albemarle, and you pay for it in agility a lot, from 2.4 second rudder to 5.1 seconds. And so let's start the battle here, and you can see it's a capture the base battle. And actually damage focused builds tend to do better in these battles here, because you don't have to get so close to the enemy. There's no need to push forward, because there's no caps to take, and there are no destroyers hiding in the caps. They could be anywhere on the map, so it's better just to hang back basically, and we let the enemy come to you. So right now Kagero is close to me, so I have 20 kilometer range. That's nearly 6 kilometers more than you have with an agile build. So that means that I don't have to move forward at all. I can just sit down here in the back, which I'm going to do pretty much the whole battle. And that leads me into the reason I don't really play these builds here. Of course you can push up, and I would do that if this was a domination map. But like I said, this is capture the base, and this is where this build is just, well, works perfectly. And there's no reason to push up. There's plenty of battleships in this battle here, and as long as I stay not max range, but quite far away, the battleship dispersion will make sure I don't take too many nasty hits. So had I been in an agile build, I would have no way of hitting this Kutuzov and this Georgia here. They would still have to be another 4 kilometers closer or something like that, which is nuts. So in agile build you have to push up. And it's actually kind of an incentive to make you a little bit more aggressive, because like you have to push up, otherwise you can't hit anyone. And that's also why it's ridiculous when people say that agile cruisers spend all the time in the back of the map shooting HE, simply because that is impossible. You can't do that with 14 kilometer range. Like 14 kilometer range means you have to be in the thick of it. You cannot sit like this and pummel a Georgia from more than 18 kilometer range setting fires. It's impossible. So yeah, just a little tidbit of information there. If I was in an agile cruiser, I would be up at the island in the front here, and trying to shoot around the corners. But with this range here, there's no need. I can just sit here. And I think Homer Simpson said it the best as to why I don't really like damage-focused cruisers.
Boring.
Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with these kinds of builds here, because obviously they are very effective, nothing wrong with that, and I think it's just like a question of temperament, really. Like, I'm a more impatient player, and I would like at least a little bit of action and fun when I play this game here. Not too much, of course, but I need a little bit more than these builds here provide me, especially on a Capture the Base map. I really don't like Capture the Base games for that exact same reason, that like they just turn into these prolonged like a stalemate trench warfare, and I mean, my goodness, it is just terribly boring. Really, it is. And if I wanted to play a ship in this style here, like, I would play a battleship. And when I play cruisers, I want a little bit more fun, honestly. Because sitting, I know I'm sitting extremely in the back in this game here. I don't actually push up at all, because there's really no reason to. But even in an agile, well, no, in a damage-focused build where you perhaps push up a little bit, and like, it's boring, to paraphrase, well, to quote Homer Simpson. So here we have a Kagero visiting, and the reason I didn't shoot him before was because I wanted him to get inside my radar range in case he would smoke up. But he's well within the range now, so we'll take a few shots at him. And I don't know what he's doing anyway. He's not in the best position. He's like surrounded by two cruisers, and yeah. Anyway, he's dead.
Enemy destroyer sunk. Nice work.
So I like the fact that you can tailor this ship here, or this game, any ship in the game basically, especially the higher tiers, to suit your playstyle. And that allows me to build ships the way I prefer to play, which is very aggressive and not very patient, basically. And in the end, I think your amount of patience is really what determines if you're a good player or a bad player. It's less the actual ship build, honestly. So I think if I played exclusively with damage-focused builds, which I don't, my performance would probably be somewhere around the same, I think. And I know some players do much better with damage-focused builds. But like, I always wondered what the difference was between agile builds and more damage-focused builds. And of course, you cannot compare yourself, because like, you will do better in one build or the other. So if I play damage-focused builds, I probably don't play them to their fullest. But when I play agile build, I certainly play them to their fullest. So you need to compare one player to another player, where it kind of gets into like, it's hard to compare like personal results like that, especially when you don't play the same build. So when we got access to our personal stats, I was very excited to have a look at how my cruisers actually did. And I was pleasantly surprised. I think most of them have a win rate of about just over 60%. 61, 62, most of them sit there, like Hippo and Hippo and Prinzeugen. A few of them are a bit higher, like Atago B is 65 and Edinburgh 64, I think, something like that. So anyway, that tells me that agile builds are very much competitive, definitely. Like, I've taken a lot of flack from, again, the Discord master race, saying that, agile builds aren't competitive and yada yada yada, but then they are. So yeah, maybe damage-focused builds are even more competitive. I don't know, but if you're a super competitive player, then yeah, that's fine, go for that. But when I play this game, I would like to have a little fun too. this is not all about competitive play and so as long as you're not a detriment to your team, like for example putting like torp inspirations on a ship with no torpedoes and stuff like that, and just like playing ridiculous, then I don't think there's any reason not to put the build on the ship that you like, that you prefer, and that you do well in. Like I do well both in agile cruisers and the more damage focused builds, but I'm just so bored when I play the damage focused builds, especially in the first 5 minutes of the battle. It gets better at the end, but I don't like them much, and especially on a domination map, I always prefer to be in an agile build, and I think that's more important because not many people actually push in on a domination map. So in an agile cruiser, you're able to do that. So I think that's more important. So I always pick an agile build, because of course I cannot choose if I'm going into a capture the flag battle or a not capture the flag, capture the base battle, or a more like domination battle. So here I'm finally get to use my radar here, like with only 6 minutes left of the game, to get this Kutuzov here. I thought he could sit here and be annoying, but yeah, not gonna happen. So this is about as close as I get to the middle of the map in this battle here, because you can see he has plenty of support, a battleship and another cruiser, so I can't take them on at this range here without an agile build. I'm simply not able to dodge them fast enough. If I had an agile build, I would probably have gone for the island that the cruiser is behind now, and see if I couldn't get a few torps in. So this battleship here, this blue one here, he is pushing in to meet his maker, it seems like, because I don't know what he's doing. He's facing 3 ships, and I cannot help him there. There's simply too many enemies. And of course, as soon as he dies, I am the main target. So I'm going to disengage for a while here and try to regroup with my battleships, because I cannot take like one of these battleships is an Amagi, and I still think that is the most dangerous battleship out there, definitely. There aren't many of them anymore. Like a year and a half, 2 years ago, there were so many Amagis, and like they are the biggest threat to cruisers at tier 7, I think. Those shells just hit so hard, and like they just penetrate no matter what, basically. Very dangerous ship. And yeah, when I play cruisers, it is a battleship I don't want to mess with. That's also why I'm leaving him a little bit alone until I'm in a better position, because this eye over here is still focusing me. And you can see I still have double rudder on the ship, and that helped me to avoid that Iowa salvo there. But it was very, very close. And yeah, 1 kilometer closer, and he probably would have totally citadeled me. Because, like you know, Albemarle is a very finicky ship. Sometimes you take a penetration, and sometimes you just get absolutely punished. So now the Amagi has seen me as well, and he took out my gun. That's another thing about Amagis. If they hit your armament, you're pretty much sure that it'll get taken out. And of course that is a major problem. So as you can see, we are just behind on points here, but really all we have to do to win this battle here is to sink a battleship. Then the points will be in our favor, and everybody's sitting back and thinking the same thing. And yeah, again, I'll let Homer tell you what I think.
Boring, boring, boring.
So also, as you can see, I'm moving a little bit away from the battle here, because this Amagi here has like really got his eye on me. As you can see, I took a very nasty hit there. I don't have any heals left because I'm not running an agile build. And yeah, another thing that I don't like about these builds here. Like you lose a radar and a sonar and a heal. And again, I know I still have a radar left in this battle here because it's captured the base battle primarily. But I like to have 3 of each, so I can really, if I have to, I can radar all 3 caps, for example. Can't do that with this build here. It's a less of a utility build, and it is like a damage focused build. Yeah, just not my thing. And that's not to say it's not some people's thing. That's fine. Like I said, this ship caters to pretty much any like play style out there. It's just a matter of setting your ship up in a way that suits you. So of course, having both an agile commander and a damage focused commander like Fraser in this case here, leveled to the maximum possible, which is 16.4, is obviously expensive and difficult in resources. So it's quite hard to figure out which playstyle you like. But so I tend to say in the beginning, just upgrade both commanders to level 7 or something like that, where you get 1 inspiration and it's not too expensive. I think you can get away with doing that only with commander XP and maybe 5 commendations or something like that. No, not commendations, sorry. Not insignia, the other one. The one that's easy to get. Anyway. And then figure out like what you prefer. Because like a damage focused build, you don't need the commander to be very high level. Because you don't need that super fast rudder. Because agile builds only become viable with less than 3 second rudder, and that takes a lot of resources. While with a damage focused build, you can pretty much stay at the level 11, where you get both inspirations, and you should be fine. So here I'm down to 113 health here, and the Amaji, look at his guns, he's hungry for a kill. So that's why I'm just gonna go into a bit of a safe position here behind the rock, and then I'll see if I can't set him on fire here before the end of the battle. I was just trying to get 150,000 damage, which I managed to do, and we get a Confederate and a fire here just in the last salvo. So that was an Albemarle with a traditional damage focused build, and well, nothing wrong with that, but I prefer agile. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you out there.
Boring.